Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. On today's episode, we will be talking about the joys of cooking, and we will have Tyler Magaha as our guest for the day. As we get older, so do our parents, and that brings its own set of challenges to our lives, challenges that weigh heavy on our hearts. Every other week, I drive over to West Virginia to check on my mom and my stepdad to make sure things are okay. But a few weeks ago, I had to make that trip for something not so pleasant, something I really didn't want to face. And I remember driving through Ebensburg, and suddenly the anxiety hit me hard. My chest was tight, my breathing was shallow, and I thought, Lord, I don't want to do this today. I just don't want to do it. You got to help me. And right about then, I reached over and put on a worship song called Just Breathe. And as I sang those lyrics, just breathe, it's a miracle we can breathe. Release your heavy burden and breathe. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. And I realized something. Anxiety that I was feeling didn't just sit in my mind. It showed up in my chest, and it tried to steal my breath. The very miracle that keeps me alive, it was trying to take. So right there, on that road in Ebensburg, I made a decision. I released my heavy burden, and I breathed. And with every breath, for the next 2.5 hours, I praised God. Now listen, the situation waiting for me when I arrived, it didn't magically disappear. It was all still there. It was still messy, still heavy. But this time I walked into it differently. I tackled it with grace, with mercy, with patience, and with love. And none of that came from me. It could only come from Him. And here I am today on the other side of it, able to say this. I'm still breathing and I'm still praising. And we're just 3 ladies with big opinions, always backed by a biblical standpoint. So grab a chair, get your coffee, and hey, let's talk about it.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, if you can dream it, we can create it. They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. We're here to talk about the joys of cooking or not, because I do not like to cook.
I do not like to cook either.
I do like food.
I like food too.
I do think food is social, and I do have very fond memories of my grandmother and around her table and eating some of the best food I've ever eaten in my life. And she's gone, and some of those foods I will probably never get to eat again.
I have that same thing with my gran. Like, she was the best cook ever, and I miss tasting that food. And I wish we would have written down some recipes and learned more from her while she was here. We did try a couple times.
It wouldn't have done me any good. My grandma did not follow a recipe.
That's the thing.
That's crazy.
We would I talked about this on a show before. We went to make Christmas cookies with her once, and it was on the Christmas episode, and we shared this. But she was like, made the best chocolate chip cookie, and we're like, well, how do you make it so that we know? She's like, oh, girls, it's just the recipe on the Toll House chocolate chip cookie bag. And I'm like, really? Oh, all right. And so we start to do it, and we're watching her, and she adds like an extra egg. Then it's, wait, whoa. it said 3 eggs, you just put 4, that's not the same. And then she did something else that wasn't, and no, then that's not the recipe.
Right.
Yeah, you might have went off of it, but you added things to this to make
Things
it.
that make it her own.
Right, and make
Yeah.
it taste as good as it does. But she had so many recipes like that. I just wish that we would have them. Like, I'm not sure I'll ever get to taste her coconut cream pie, and it was amazing. One of my favorite things to make of hers actually is her cream cucumber recipe.
Oh, I love cream cucumber.
Probably not her way. Do you like them sweet?
I like both.
Really? Because most people like them sweet, but she made them sour, very sour. The more sour, the better. And I do make them. I don't think they're as good as hers because we never did get the exact recipe. And even today, if someone would ask me how to make them, I'm like, well, I have to like taste it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Does she do a lot more vinegar?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot
Like
of
double, triple.
of the vinegar and then sour cream. No sugar at all.
Oh,
There's no sugar
okay.
in the.
Yeah.
And then you.
I just made some, so that's why I was like, the recipe's like right on my mind right now. But even just like a teaspoon of sugar to counter the vinegar would make a difference. But if she does none,
No
so
sugar.
it's kind of like creamy pickles then.
Kind of, yeah. I
I mean,
guess.
like the way my brain
yeah.
goes, I'm like, well, I just made pickles
Yeah.
and I just made creamy cucumbers. So
Now I
just-
make the sweet ones for my husband because
Yeah.
he doesn't like the sour. He's not part of the right family on that. Yes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you have to eat them then with pork chops and
gosh.
fried potatoes, and the sauce of the cream cucumbers goes over everything.
Oh, see, I would love
And that's the only way to eat it.
I would
And
love
it's amazing. And it's my favorite meal to this day. It's my one of my kids' favorite meals, and it makes me think of her every time I make it. And I miss it. I miss it.
do, yeah. I actually really love to cook.
you? I bet
And
you
I love
do.
to bake.
Baking, I'm more on.
Yes, of course, I love baked goods.
Yes,
So I love
yes.
to make them, and I love to eat them, unfortunately. I always make fun of myself and say that I have BGD, which is called baked good disorder. I made it up myself because I could be eating so healthy and clean, and just like you put a homemade chocolate chip cookie in
fall
front of me, and I
prey.
just fall. Like, I love them, but I mean, I did grow up with 2 grandparents that loved to, like my Nana and my grandma both loved to cook and bake. And so I feel like, and my mom would make a lot of things from scratch. So I kind of learned naturally from them. And I just find it to be really joyful to be in the kitchen. I actually said, like maybe a couple weeks ago, if this is all I had to do, it would be wonderful. But the thing is like I'm making food for 4 children, and it's usually in between really busy schedules. So I don't feel like I get to, enjoy it as much as I would like maybe when I had some more time. Like on the weekends, I love it because I could just be in the kitchen all day and I'm just cooking up a storm, and I look at a recipe and then I tweak it. So I would never be able to like replicate something perfectly because I do tweak my own recipes.
Yeah. No, I think like I always want to make things. It sounds fun. I was just telling my family the other day, if I say I want to make stuff for a picnic, please remind me that I don't. I don't. Like once I started, I'm like, no, I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
So you know the little Reels videos on
Yeah.
Facebook. You can watch them make stuff.
Right.
Oh, I love it.
I love it as long as it's only like 3 or 4 steps. If it's gets like, I'm like, no, I'm not making this.
Or
It's
things
way
you don't
too much.
have.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
What is that?
this is getting too complicated, so I just scroll.
Roll up. Yeah. Also, when you're cooking for you and your husband, do you find it to be a little bit less exciting because it's like, oh, I'm just making this for 2 people, or do you have like your family over
I do,
and then cook for them?
And that's what I was thinking about this. Like some of my favorite TV shows is shows that have like
The family eating around.
big table
Yes.
scenes.
Yeah.
And
Blue Bloods. Have you
yeah,
ever?
I haven't, but I heard, and it was on my list because the girls in the office told me that.
Yeah.
But like the show Heartland, there is always a dinner scene at the table, and sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's serious, and sometimes it's dramatic. But a lot happens at the dinner table, and I even was thinking way back when the Waltons, you guys are probably too young to
I know
sit
the
around and watch
show.
the Waltons,
I know
but
the show.
I used to love watching them at the dinner table. And I think that's what I like about food in general
Yeah.
is the
fellowship and
yeah, for sure, for sure.
You can have
I
some
do
really
too.
important conversations at the dinner table.
Yeah, we always
Yeah.
say you always come back, right? Like you're you know, you may leave in a disagreement, but you always come back to the table and
Yeah.
you know, you have a seat there. I always actually keep my dining room table set, so if people come over, like I have it ready to go, because I really, really love to serve and feed people, but the time is tricky right now.
Mine's
But that's
supposed to
okay.
be set, but for some reason it just clutter.
Yeah.
There are dishes on there. It's
Yeah.
supposed to look pretty, but oftentimes it's a mess. But as far cooking, I think with cooking dinner for the family, it's like, what can I cook tonight that's different? So you like run out of ideas.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like
is
I'm
true.
just cooking the same 10 meals over and over again, and so that can get a little boring or frustrating
Yes.
to me, and it's just not that fun. When it comes to baking, I do enjoy that a little bit more, probably because I also loved a good baked good, and so I'm willing to maybe spend a little more time and try things, because I love brownies, cookies,
too.
apple dumplings. Like we're going into that
The
season.
fall, I know.
The
I feel
fall
like a hot
foods.
drink and a baked good. It's just like,
Yeah.
come
Yes.
on, like come sit with me and have this. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't sit down and enjoy this baked good with me, I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah, you're missing
I'm like, you are missing out. I really love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love baked goods, and that was something my grandmother was really, really good at.
Yeah.
I married into an Italian family, and I have tried to replicate those Italian cookies. And again, like everyone told me that it was by taste and it was by touch, like the texture of her extract cookies. So I've looked at her recipe and I'm like, I know she didn't follow this because I don't follow my recipes. But like I try to get in my brain, like what would she have done differently? But I never tasted those like true Italian cookies from her to know what they tasted like. So I feel like I can't really carry on like my husband's family's traditions like I could my side, because, you know, like I would be trained by my grandmom and my mom, but like
Yeah.
on his,
That is
I don't
one thing
have
I
one.
would totally do different if
Yeah.
if I was able to go back. I would spend more time in her kitchen.
Isn't that so?
I really
yeah,
would. I
that's
would
so
spend more
true.
time in her kitchen, see what she's making, how she's doing it, because in my mind, no one compares.
Right.
Oh, in
Right.
mine,
And that,
yeah,
isn't that funny?
unequivocally,
Everybody-
yes. And
Everyone has their favorites.
like cabbage rolls, her cabbage rolls. I will never have a cabbage roll like that ever again in my life. I know that makes me really sad.
Don't you feel like when I think about those things, I'm like, it's because they put love into it.
Yeah.
Like I think about that. I'm like, are they like when they were making dinner for you? Like well, at least like my grandparent, my nana, they always had just like such a delightful heart. Like I never heard stress. I mean, maybe I was.
Well, I
little,
can't say
but
the same for
I
my
don't
grandma.
know,
She was
really.
a yeller.
I was like, I feel like there's so much love put into things like that.
Back then, my grandmother used to make this big, huge dinner for after church on Sunday. That was what you did. You ate this big spread, you know. And today we don't do that. We go sit in a restaurant,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It is not. No, I agree. Would you prefer baking over cooking if you had a preference, or cooking over baking?
Baking for me.
I don't know. I don't like any of it.
I also was a home ec teacher, so I feel like I'm kind of like I had to go to school for that, so I feel like that also is like
And-
part inside of.
And I just want to say, it's not that I can't cook or
Yeah.
that I can, and I do. I'm
Right.
just not a lover of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's overwhelming to
I'd
me.
rather eat out.
Yeah, I
There you
think there's something so special about making. I had a bunch of youth at our house the other night, and I made like a huge pot of chili, and I had all the works, and my heart was happy having them there, you know, gathering together and eating and feeding their belly.
I'll be happy to eat it.
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So cooking and food and dinner time, it's social, and it is a love language. It's a love language all its own. So when we come back, we will have your guest for the day.
Since 1929, my family has helped keep your family at home.
Ask for Dick's Home Care.
I don't allow my disability to stop me from living the life I choose. Dick's Home Care has provided me with everything I need to be mobile.
Don't let mobility challenges hold you back. Call today to learn how Dick's Home Care can empower you to live life on your own terms.
Call the leader in home health care equipment, Dick's Home Care.
Welcome back. We have a special guest with us today. Nice to have you back on the show again, Tyler.
Thank you for having me.
I interviewed you a couple years ago when you were just kicking this thing off.
Yes.
So I'm kind of excited to see where we're at today. This is kind of like a little recap on where you've gone from year one to today. But let's start out by you telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure, yeah. My name is Tyler Magaha. I'm the owner of Warrior Sports Physical Therapy here in Altoona. Opened up a couple of years ago. I'm married to my wife, Grace, and we go to Grace Bible Church. Very involved in a lot of different fun activities in the community. Do some stuff with the Altoona Curve and a lot of things with our church, playing some basketball leagues. So my wife and I really like to be active. So anything that involves being outside, playing sports, like to exercise a lot. So those are just some of the things that I'm passionate about and that her
How
and I
do
are
you
involved
get that joy? I would love to know. How do you get the joy?
Yeah. I think growing up as an athlete, I had one coach, a strength trainer when I was really young that was very hard on me from a very young age. And kind of just built that discipline into my life. And then over time, I just think some of the scientific research about endorphins and things that are released when you exercise, you just kind of can see the progress over time. And I think that's what I like about it, is just being able to see the work that you put in paying off. So I think that's why I enjoy it
I need
so much.
some of that to flow.
Some days are a lot better than others, though. Depending on the workout, some days are much more fun than others.
Oh, sure.
So tell us about your business because I remember when I talked to you before, this was like very beginning stages. I don't even know like back then that you even worked with health insurances or anything like that. So just tell everybody exactly what you do because you have a very, very unique approach and I like it.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm the owner of Warrior Sports Physical Therapy, still located at the same place in Altoona, right by Mansion Park. We partner with Revival Fitness Gym, so we subcontract out of there. It's an awesome space, but yeah, not like a typical physical therapy experience that maybe some people have had before. So, one thing when I was starting out that I wanted to kind of emphasize was the environment in which patients would be coming into. I will say, a lot of my patient population is athletes and active adults. We treat anything orthopedic, sports related, any type of injury for patients that fall under those categories. And it's a lot more like the environment similar to like an athletic training room, more so than it is a doctor's office. I feel like, at least for myself growing up, whenever I would have to, go to appointments or things, there's kind of like, not a negative stigma, but it's just going to the doctors isn't very exciting or something that people look forward to, having appointments. It's just kind of something you had to do and you do. And I wanted to create an environment that patients would be excited to come to and it would be a bright spot in their week. So being inside of a gym, again, it kind of caters more towards an active population naturally, but also just being able to kind of set it up in a way where it's a good blend of both, science and rehabilitation, but also performance and strength training. So just very different from a lot of the mainstream and what physical therapy typically looks like. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, and I'm not trying to hog the conversation, but I interviewed him before.
Yeah.
But so I remember then though that you had a different approach that like you go to physical therapy, it drags on. Mm-hmm. Believe me, I was a victim of it, 6 months worth. And I'm the one that called it quits. Mm-hmm. But you have this goal of making that as short as possible and getting people healed up and, operational quick, fast.
Sure.
And that's so important. It can be extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And time consuming.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that I hear a lot from people in general, whether this be patients or family and friends, is like, hey, I went to PT 3 or 4 times a week and I was there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I did the same thing every time. And after about 4 or 5 weeks, I was kind of like, why am I coming here? I can do this on my own, right? And I think, obviously as busy people with lives and a lot of us with families and other commitments, our time's very valuable. So I don't like to waste people's time when they come in, so to say. Our sessions run between 45 minutes up to a little bit over an hour. But we try to get in the things we need in order to rehab whatever the injury may be and get you back to the things you love, but also not just have you there for a long period of time doing things that may or may not be challenging and actually kind of pushing you towards the goals you have of getting back to. So like to maximize the time we have, but also not have people there forever. And yes, I always tell every patient that comes in, especially after a surgery, my number one goal is to get you back to doing things safely. Sometimes that may take a longer period of time, sometimes that can be shorter. But I think one area where we've gone wrong in healthcare is making things based on time criteria instead of based on how the patient's actually doing and testing things. So instead of viewing things purely based off time, which is a part of the picture, right? You know, tissue takes time to heal in certain situations with certain injuries and surgeries. That is definitely a factor, but I try to base more of my, you know, end outcome and goals on how the patient's actually doing and testing and reassessing things and, you know, getting objective measures for strength and mobility and things like that to be able to make safe decisions for returning to a sport, returning to running, being active with grandchildren, whatever the case may be. Whenever it's applicable, just using those things to make sure making a safe, educated decision. Each patient is different. Yes, absolutely, because each patient is different, and sometimes some people may take longer with the same injury or surgery, and sometimes people can get back shorter. And there's so many factors that go into that. So just taking as much of an evidence-based approach as possible while still caring for the person in front of me.
How long have you been open?
About 4 years now, a little bit of,
so
a little
still
under
newer.
Yeah, still newer.
Maybe
for
people don't know about it, so hopefully it's
absolutely.
a big help to bring people into your business. Now, do you specifically work on physical therapy side of things, or do you also do like training and workouts for people that don't have a physical injury? So the gym we partner with, they do a lot of that. They have a couple different personal trainers there that are all great and I have a really good relationship with. I would say the extent to which I do that personally is more so with athletes that are kind of looking for more like high level sports performance training. I will do some of that, but for the most part, I kind of stay on the rehab side of things. But again, one of the other nice things and benefits about the location that I'm in is having good relationships with those trainers. It's very easy for me to maybe take someone who comes in and doesn't know about either of our businesses, and let's say it's an adult trying to get back to doing something active with low back pain, to be able to take them through a couple weeks of rehab and then say, hey, look, your best bet to stay healthy and keep this from coming back is consistent, smart, progressed strength training a couple days a week. And then to be able to hand them off to a trainer within the gym. Because they work together.
There, right. That I have a good relationship with and that I trust and know that they're going to program things in a smart way for them is really nice to have. And a lot of times it makes the patient more comfortable too. To be able to say like, hey, I'm going to be right here, but there's another Tyler, like Tyler or Luke or whoever the trainer may be is going to program some things for you. I'm going to make sure I talk to them about what things to be slow about easing into. It just makes that transition really nice.
I bet it does.
It's definitely a big benefit having those guys there to work alongside each day.
What is your title? Like, are you a PT?
Physical therapist. Yeah, I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I like to kind of call myself like a performance physical therapist because again, it's not like the traditional PT. It's a lot more of an active approach typically. But yeah, the doctor of physical therapy. Yes, ma'am.
So do people have to be referred to you, or can they just like through insurance, or you just take through word of mouth? How does that work?
So it depends. Some insurance plans do require referrals, but not all do.
Okay.
So it just depends on your individual plan, really, what that is.
So you are now taking insurance?
Yes. Okay. So we do take some insurances. We don't take all. We've tried to get in network with all the major ones, but some will let you in, some won't. So we do take Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and United Healthcare, Medicare, some UPMC plans, it just depends, and then some Cigna plans, it just depends. So,
okay, well that's a fair amount.
Yeah. That's a good amount.
Yeah, so whenever a patient calls, we always check, but for those first 3 or 4 that I said, we take all of those plans.
Well, I just want to say, you're a young guy, and I really, really admire you and your approach, and it wasn't about, I feel like for you, it wasn't about the money. It's kind of like, I'm going to take care of the people and the money will come later type of thing. That's how I view what you do. Because when I first met you, you didn't take insurance. This was all out of pocket, people coming to you. And I'm sure it took some time to build a reputation. And
for sure. Yeah. And there's always a balance, right? And I'm not saying that I have that figured out perfectly, but like, being a good steward of what God gives you and caring for yourself and your people and your families. But also, again, factoring in everyone's situations. Injury and just financial life-wise is different. So that's a hard thing to figure out and a hard balance to have. And like I said, I definitely don't have it figured out perfectly. But at the end of the day, trusting that God will provide, and sometimes people have situations and needs that have to be met. And being able to just be a blessing to people is something that I enjoy doing.
I love it.
I love it. I'm proud of you. You are a fine young man. I'm telling you. I interviewed him a couple years ago, and I was impressed then. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So if you have an injury and you need physical therapy, give Tyler a try. I feel like he's unconventional in a good way. So reach out to Tyler, and when we come back, we will have your verse for the day.
Made by Vogel is a father and son business that produces high-quality handmade wooden products such as cutting boards, bowls, bottle stoppers, and more. Products for sale can be found on their Etsy site or in downtown Altoona at the Clay Cup. You can't go wrong buying from Made by Vogel.
Next time on Let's Talk About It, we will talk about someone that we really look up to and admire, and then we will have Heather Grimminger join us to talk about assisted living.
So I started in the system. I had a grandmother who had a stroke and really fell in love with the rehab process of getting people healthy, well, back home, back into their living system. So from there I decided, well, I'm gonna get into physical therapy. It was a natural process. So I became a physical therapy assistant.
All that and more next time on Let's Talk About It. The verse I would like to share today is found in Romans 8:38-39. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. What a verse to meditate on. This verse tells us there is nothing that can separate us from the love of God. Not our past mistakes, not a divorce, not some sort of addiction, not reading my Bible, not making wise choices. Nothing. He has and always will love us. His love is unwavering and it's unconditional. And it's a promise. But let's also remember, this isn't giving us a license to just go and sin. It's this love that should cause us to love righteously for Him, and what an amazing love it is. So until next time, let's talk about it.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. Contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Dick's full line of mobility products, including manual wheelchairs, custom manual, power wheelchairs, and scooters for both adults and children. Call the leader in home medical equipment, Dick's Home Care.
Champion Roofing, the champs. Champion Roofing, we're the solution. You can count on the roofing pros. Our roots run deep and our integrity shows. Proud to serve you, we love what we do. With Champion's unbeatable warranties too.